You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today's Wednesday, 29th day of October, 2025. Thanks for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. First broadcast is our live training room, so to get in there, you got to be a member or taking your 1-week free trial. If you have not yet taken your 1-week free trial, when Michael joins us in about an hour, he'll walk you through it step by step. It'll take you 3 minutes. We'll get your indicators up and indicating today. Your trial will officially start tomorrow, and it'll run all the way through next Wednesday. The weekends don't count against you. You get 5 consecutive days where we treat you as if you were already a member. We give you access to everything. No credit card required. Why? Because we want you to be able to make a well-informed, intelligent decision at the end of your trial as to whether or not trading is right for you. Now, when the live training room ends each morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break and come back for this broadcast, the noon broadcast, which is open to the public. Everybody everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. There's 2 different ways to join this afternoon broadcast live. The best way, you only got to do it once. Go to mytradingiq.com. Scroll down the page to where it says noon broadcast. Click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form, and you're done. What will happen going forward is every trading day you'll get an email about an hour before the broadcast starts. In the email, there will be a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, just click the link in the email, and it automatically logs you into our platform. The benefit of doing it that way is you have access immediately to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there'll be days you're out of the office, away from your desktop, but you still want to join live. And some days you'll be busy, so you can't join live, but you do want to get caught up later. You can do both of those via our YouTube channel, which is easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. That's the Christian Financial Radio Network since 2005. But all you have to remember is youtube.com/CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, as we're doing right now, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there are over 2,900 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. youtube.com/CFRN. On the left side of the screen here, you'll see our schedule for each afternoon broadcast. Michael will join us at the top of the hour for a recap of what happened this morning in the live training room. But we'll get started where we always do, with our daily devotional. And we're in a topic right now, learning to share your faith. And we're going to be in this topic for a few weeks because it's eternally important. I have two scriptures today. First one in the Old Testament. Speaking of the Old Testament, if you got Netflix, there's a movie that was recently added called Bad Shabbat, I think it is. It's about a Jewish family that lives in New York City in an upscale high-rise, and the hijinks that go on during their Sabbath, which is Friday evening to Saturday evening. It's dark humor, but it's worth a watch. You got some time to kill, just go to YouTube, or not YouTube, but Netflix, and search Bad. I think it's SHABOTS. It'll point you there. Or just go to the recently added section. You'll find it. It's pretty funny. It's got Kara Sedgwick in it. And a couple other stars that I don't remember their name. But anyway. And that came to mind because most of the scripture that I give you during the daily devotional is from the New Testament. But this one from the Old Testament. Genesis 3, verses 8 through 9. When they heard the sound of God strolling in the garden in the evening breeze, the man and his wife hid in the trees of the garden. They hid from God. Now, I am giving you this from the Message translation. So your King James Version may read a little different. We all know about the fig leaves. Verse 9. God called to the man, "Where are you?" Now, hold on a minute. This is God talking. He created the heavens and the earth. He created the Garden of Eden and everything in it, including the man and the woman. Is it really possible he did not know where the man was? Of course not. You see, most people read this and think it's a geographical question. When God called to the man, "Where are you?" He wasn't talking about physically, like, which bush are you hiding behind? I can't hide. He wasn't playing hide and seek with Adam and Eve. This was a very deep spiritual question. Where are you? And as part of this whole devotional where we're teaching to learn to share your faith. In yesterday's installment, what was the first thing Philip asked when he saw the eunuch reading Isaiah? Do you understand what you're reading? It's kind of like, where are you? We need to know someone's spiritual condition before we can be an effective witness to them. Now, I said I had two scriptures. This one is from the New Testament. Also from the Message translation, Luke 15, verses 1 through 7. By this time, a lot of men and women of questionable reputation were hanging around Jesus, listening intently. The Pharisees and religion scholars were not pleased, not at all pleased. They growled. He takes in sinners and eats meals with them, treating them like old friends. Their grumbling triggered this story. Suppose one of you had 100 sheep and lost one. Wouldn't you leave the 99 in the wilderness and go after the lost one until you found it? When found, you can be sure you would put it across your shoulders, rejoicing. And when you got home, call in your friends and neighbors saying, "Celebrate with me. I found my lost sheep." Count on it. There's more joy in heaven over one sinner's rescued life than over 99 good people in no need of rescue. And you can be the key to helping people you know or don't yet know become one of those people who are in the 99. Hide and seek. Where are you? That was God's first question to the man and his wife when they turned away in sin. It's not that they were physically lost, though he and his wife were attempting to hide from God. But God cannot be tricked. He knows everything. They were experiencing the consequence of their sin, alienation from God. Ever since, men and women who are spiritually lost have wandered on their own, trying to hide whenever they sense God is near. God has not given up the hunt. Jesus came to seek and save those who are lost. And we can join with him in this mission. What better way to do so than to follow God's example by asking, where are you in your spiritual journey? There's nothing offensive in that question at all. It's not like you're banging them in the head with the Bible going, "Hey, how come you ain't a Christian, bro?" Where are you in your spiritual journey? Because a lot of people, I know you've heard it before, "Well, I'm just not a religious person, but I'm very spiritual." Okay. There's not much meat on that bone. So, the first step of a spiritual conversation is often a simple question. A non-threatening, no condemnation, benign question. Where are you in your spiritual journey? You can word it however you want. So I encourage you to take a step. Ask one of your casual acquaintances about his or her spiritual journey. Use questions like, what is your religious background or experience? What have you tried in your spiritual journey? Where are you now spiritually? Do you think you're moving towards God, away from God, or staying about the same? Now, of course, some people are going to tell you, there is no God. After all, it was in the front page of the New York Times many, many years ago, God is dead. There's also a movie, a good movie, God's Not Dead. And I can vouch for the fact that God's not dead. How do I know? I just spoke to him. And now we're going to speak to him again. Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you that you never stop pursuing us when we wander. Remind us of your great love that rejoices over every lost soul brought home. Give us hearts that reflect your compassion, so we too will seek out the hurting and the lost. May we live in the joy of being found by you. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, Amen. Amen. And happy Wednesday. Hold on for me 1 second. All right. Now, the numbers from around the world. I don't have to tell you, Fed Day, today. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let me just give you the numbers first. Did we have a new all-time historic high today in the ES? Yep. Did we yesterday? Yep. Did we close well off the high yesterday? Oh, yeah. All right. Let me bring in some fresh data. And we'll start with the indices, the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Currently, the Dow's up 269 points. NASDAQ up 105. S&P 500 up 12. And the Russell 2000 up 15. You would think the Messiah was returning today. Maybe people would be taking profit. I don't know. Anyway, those are the numbers. Believe it or not. Government shut down. Geopolitical tension everywhere you look. Division in America like we've never seen before between the Democrat and the Republican Party. A socialist, no, let's call it what it is, a communist about to become the mayor of New York City. The market's at an all-time historic high. Friends, please don't get caught in this rug pull, okay? I'm telling you, I believe this would be the single largest head fake in the history of the markets. And a lot of people are going to get very rich, and a lot of people are going to get very broke. So, I can't give you specific investment advice because I'm not a licensed investment professional, but I can sure tell you, you better be careful, and you better go talk to your broker, whoever they are, and say, hey, you know, I own all these different stocks, if you're a stock person. What can I do to protect myself from this upcoming catastrophe that I hear? There's one guy on the internet and a lot of other people in a lot of other places talking about, how can I hedge my bet? Should I just take my profit and then buy the dip? Well, it's not a bad idea now that you mention it. Okay, commodity basket. Crude oil up 76 cents, trading 60.91 last. That's a gain of 1.25%. We did have crude inventories today. Gold up $30.20, trading 4,013.70 last. Silver up 80 cents, trading 48.13 last. That's a gain of almost 1.75%. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 1,088 points, over 2%. Shanghai up 28. Hang Seng down 87. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE up 49. The DAX down 159. The CAC down 23. So we had a mixed day in Asia. It was a mixed day in the UK. But it's a green Fed Day Radio Wednesday here in the US of A. Look out below. Who knows? Maybe this time it'll just defy gravity and just climb forever. Now, don't get me wrong, the indices will always go higher over time until the end of time because that's how they're designed. Whether it's the S&P 500 index or any other index that is actively managed. The S&P 500 index is actively managed buy some very smart cookies over at Standard & Poor's. And every time a company shows weakness, they take them out and put a fresh company in. They're constantly shuffling the deck, or stacking the deck, if you will. So, over time, all you got to do is look at a historic chart. Over time, the indices always go higher. That's how and why they were created. Okay, news. Hurricane Melissa hit Jamaica's southwest coast yesterday with 185 mile-per-hour winds. The Category 5 storm is among the strongest Atlantic hurricane and the most powerful to hit Jamaica since recording began 174 years ago. The storm caused a widespread power outage and road closures, making it difficult to immediately ascertain the damage and possible casualties. The Prime Minister had warned that Jamaica's infrastructure was not built to withstand such a storm, whose winds doubled from 70 to 140 miles per hour over the weekend. Can you imagine walking out your front door into 140 mile per hour wind? No, you can't. I can't. Scientists say warmer waters are fueling the phenomena. Global warming. The Caribbean waters Melissa traveled over were 2.5 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than the average for this time of year. Yeah, that's what did it. Melissa is now headed to southeastern Cuba and into the Bahamas by tonight. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has filed a lawsuit against Johnson & Johnson and Kenvue, alleging the companies marketed Tylenol as safe for pregnant women without disclosing possible links between neurodevelopmental disorders and acetaminophen use. The lawsuit claims the companies violated consumer protection laws and cites recent public statements from President Donald Trump and Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. The suit centers on claims that prenatal acetaminophen use may be associated with autism and ADHD, referencing a Harvard and Mount Sinai review that found correlations but did not establish causation. Health experts and leading medical groups have disputed those conclusions, saying current evidence does not support this link. Johnson & Johnson, which transferred its consumer health business to Kenvue in 2023, has said it retains no liability for Tylenol following the divestiture. The lawsuit alleges the move was intended to shield assets unlawfully. Kenvue maintains that Tylenol remains safe for use during pregnancy. Some of you may remember a number of years ago, Johnson & Johnson lost a major lawsuit over talcum powder. Some of you are probably going, talcum powder? What is that? How about baby powder? Same thing, pretty much. Anyway, Johnson & Johnson made it for years, and pregnant women used it, and it caused some adverse health effects. OpenAI announced yesterday it has completed its reorganization, a multi-billion-dollar effort allowing it to operate more like a traditional for-profit company. The new structure will enable OpenAI to more easily raise funds and may pave the way for an initial public offering. Under the new arrangement, the company will operate as a for-profit public benefit corporation, an industry standard adopted by competitors including Anthropic, which we'll talk about a little more here in a minute, and XAI. The nonprofit arm, dedicated to health and AI resilience, called the OpenAI Foundation, will hold a 26% stake in OpenAI Group PVC, Public Benefit Corporation, valued at $130 billion. The stake makes the OpenAI Foundation the U.S.'s most valuable nonprofit, outpacing the Gates Foundation, valued at $86 billion. Microsoft will retain a 27% stake in the for-profit, with some changes to its current relationship. The restructuring allowed OpenAI to secure $40 billion in promised funding from SoftBank and other investors. Thank you, President Trump. It also ends an experimental structure which saw OpenAI's nonprofit arm controlling business operations. That's something you don't hear of every day. A nonprofit becoming a for-profit. But we'll save that for another day. NVIDIA. I wish I had a sound effect to play. Today, NVIDIA became the first company in history to be valued above $5 trillion. When they went public back in 1999, if you had invested $1,000, it would be worth, I quoted that fact this morning in the live training room. Now I don't remember the number. Oh well. NVIDIA stock rose as much as 3.4% at the market open, pushing its market capitalization above $5 trillion for the first time, as the chip giant continues to be the biggest winner from the AI boom. The company reached the milestone after comments from President Trump ahead of a planned meeting with CEO Jensen Huang added to optimism around prospects for NVIDIA's sales in China. I said it was Fed Day, and the Fed is widely expected to lower its benchmark interest rate by a 0.25 percentage point this afternoon for the second policy meeting in a row, even as officials have been flying blind without most official government data. While a cut today is baked into the cake, investors will be listening for clues from Powell about the future path for monetary policy and whether another cut could be expected in December. Powell is likely to be non-committal as usual, taking a cautious approach and reiterating that officials will set policy meeting by meeting. And come March, bye-bye Powell. We're going to get a real Fed in there. Powell will do his best to avoid any signaling about the December meeting, neither confirming market expectations nor pushing back against them, according to JP Morgan's chief economist. Markets are pricing in a roughly 87% chance of another rate cut in December. Now, no matter what happens, the street's going to throw a tantrum. If we get the 0.25 point cut, well, that's already baked in. So people are going to take the profits people are sitting on some incredible profits if you're in the right stocks or in the right index just over the past week. Yeah, you're going to see some profit taken. Now, we may spike up, but look out below. Non-committal. Artificial intelligence server maker, Supermicrocomputer, which trades under the symbol SMCI, is up almost 2% today. They said this morning that it has created a subsidiary catering to U.S. federal agencies amid a drive to increase efficiency in the government. Well, we got to first get the government open before we can make it efficient. But shares of the company were up around 3% earlier. Now we're down. Now we're less than 2%. The White House in April had ordered federal agencies to name chief AI officers and develop strategies to expand the government's use of the technology. Government entities such as the Federal Aviation Administration have been deploying AI to help with incident reports and risk assessment, while other agencies attempt to automate repetitive logistical and administrative tasks. And for those of you who visit the Breeze channel, probably saw that I posted my Google certificate in AI over the weekend or Monday. I don't know. Yep, I guess an old dog can learn new tricks. Amazon said today that it has completed a massive data center project and that Anthropic, I told you we'd be talking about Anthropic again. Anthropic is set to use 1 million of its custom chips by the end of 2025. You probably didn't even know Amazon made chips, did you? The news comes as AI chip competition heats up among big tech firms. Anthropic said last week it would use 1 million of Google's custom chips called TPUs, or Tensor Processing Units, a multi-billion-dollar deal that had raised questions about Amazon and Anthropic's relationship going forward. Amazon said in a press release today that Anthropic is using 500,000 of its Trainium 2 chips for its Claude AI models as part of the tech giant's Project Rainier, a massive AI compute cluster spread across multiple data centers so they can work together as a single system capable of training and running AI models. In total, Anthropic's models will scale to use more than 1 million of Amazon's Trainium 2 chips for training and inference from Project Rainier and other Amazon data centers this year. And Amazon's up $2 or almost 1% on the news. Mortgage rates fell to a fresh one-year low today, encouraging more homeowners to refinance and drawing prospective buyers into the market. The contract rate on a 30-year mortgage fell 7 basis points to 6.3% in the week ended October 24th, according to Mortgage Bankers Association data released Wednesday. The group's measure of refinancing jumped to the highest level since mid-September, and the index of home purchase applications rose for the first time in 5 weeks. UPS, that's those brown trucks, has reached a tentative agreement with the U.S. Postal Service, that's those red, white, and blue trucks, to provide last-mile parcel delivery for its low-cost Ground Saver shipping service. This was disclosed yesterday, patching up a relationship that ruptured in late 2024 over rate hikes. The move is part of a multi-pronged effort at UPS to reduce costs in the face of declining volumes in its domestic parcel business. Now, you'd think with all these Amazon packages coming out, UPS would be busier than ever, but Amazon has developed its own fleet. In fact, probably the last Amazon delivery you got was in a little van that said Amazon on the side of it. And Amazon had a deal a couple years ago. I don't know if they have this anymore. If you were an entrepreneur, you could strike a deal with them, and if you had a good credit score and a clean criminal record and all that, they would front you the money to buy like 10 or 12 of these specific vans. but you had to get them from a specific dealer where Amazon had already negotiated the price. Now you're in business. You just got to hire drivers, teach them how to operate the equipment, and pick up the packages at the loading dock every morning and go distribute them to front porches across America. You probably never heard of that, huh? Well, if you were tuned in here, you would have, because I told you back when it was available. I don't know if it's available anymore. Ground Saver is the name UPS gave early this year to its cheapest ground service after insourcing the final mile component of its SurePost product when the Postal Service raised prices. With SurePost, UPS inducted huge parcel volumes deep into the postal network for last mile delivery to residences. As the cost difference between the USPS and its own ground network narrowed, management determined it could provide better service on its own. Ground Saver, which usually takes 1 to 2 days longer than regular ground delivery, is primarily used by large businesses to ship low-value e-commerce packages to shoppers' front doors. Trying to see if they quote a price here. No, they don't. They don't give you a hard number. Okay, we got an earnings palooza this afternoon. Now, if this chart will load. I'm having trouble with it today. Here it comes. Now, I'm going to give you a list of companies that are going to report their earnings after the bell today. Now, you know the stock market closes at 4 p.m. Eastern, but futures keep trading until 5 p.m. Eastern. Typically, on your chart, that last hour is but a tiny speck on the chart. Okay. But I believe this afternoon between 4 and 5 p.m. Eastern, because these companies are reporting after the stock market closes. So the only ones that will be able to capture any of the action will be those trading futures. Because when stocks stop trading options, you can't buy or sell. So, you with me? Okay. This is a big deal. And this is quite a list. Microsoft, Meta, Google, Alphabet, Starbucks, Coke, eBay. Those are just the names I recognize. Okay. So, number one, we're going to get a lot of fireworks out of this Fed announcement this afternoon. I expect a lot of volatility. Maybe I'll be wrong. I don't know. But then the dust settles, just as the dust is settling from the Fed announcement, then bang, you got all this action happening. See, Microsoft's at 4:05 p.m., Google's Alphabet's at 4:03 p.m., Starbucks 4:05 p.m. So between 4 and 5, they'll all get reported. And we should see some movement in the market, the markets we look at. Okay, I had a lot of good news for you, but you know what? The hour is growing late, so we better just stop there and jump over here. Logic 247, our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. Not just E-minis, also crude, gold, and silver. We're in week 378. That's over 7 years. Over the last 378 weeks, we've issued over 20,800 individual handcrafted alerts. And what we've averaged on a weekly basis is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on simple market structure. This week, since the markets opened Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we've issued 30 alerts, one never triggered. We're still waiting on the outcome of 13. I didn't even bother putting anything out last night. We've had 16 actionable alerts this week, of which 4 or 25% would have been stopped out. Again, based simply on market structure. Now, last week, we ended up with 14% stopped out. I think the week before was 13. It's all a matter of public record. It's in Telegram. Now, the purpose of the logic alerts. Everyone has an entry price, long or short, an initial target designed to help you get your goal for the day, and quite often additional targets, and then a final trade to target. The purpose, really, yeah, you can trade them, but because they come out way before they trigger. So you got plenty of time to get ready and trade them when they trigger. But the real purpose of them is to simply teach you how to read a chart. Okay? I know you can read, but can you read a chart? The Logic 247 alerts will teach you to read a chart if you use them in the way intended. Okay? And as a bonus, yeah, you can trade them. Now, the logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. Our day session is their night session, and vice versa. Now, 378 weeks, that's a very long time, over 7 years. But many years before I dreamed up Logic 247, we had our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts. And they're different. In fact, they're different in a lot of ways. But for the purpose of this discussion, I'll simply point out that they don't come out around the clock like the logic alerts. They're posted as a static report shortly after the Globex Open, shortly before the Globex Open each evening. Typically 5:55 p.m. Eastern. The Wednesday session we're in right now began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. The Thursday session will begin tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern. Okay? So last night, 5 minutes before the market opened, all of our traders and even our trial members had all of these targets. The ES, Dow, the Russell, crude, the NQ, gold, and silver. 5 minutes before the market opened. Now, we can go to the chart. Here's a daily. We got a new all-time historic high again today. But we're off the high of the day, 69.52. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time trying to get that right on the money. 69.50, that's close enough. Okay. Just keep in mind that the new all-time historic intraday high, 69.52. That'll probably spike higher, possibly, on the Fed. But you'll notice yesterday we had a new all-time historic high, but look how far we closed off the high of the day. That should be worrisome, but apparently it wasn't, because here we are today. Yesterday's high was 69.44 and change. Today, 52. Okay. Alrighty. Price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. We call it the BBC. Just stands for bull bear cross. When price crosses below the green line, like it did back here on March 4th, we become bearish and expect lower prices. We put in a bottom on April 7th. And then on April 24th, we got back above the BBC, and then we confirmed the move the following day, the 25th, because we opened and closed above the BBC. So now we're fully gone from bear mode to bull mode. Now I said price always reverts to the mean. And in our case, the mean is the screen line. Pullback held, the pullback held, the pullback held until it didn't hold. The first pullback, once we switched from bearish to bullish, the first pullback right here, it held. And this pullback held, and this one held, and this one held. And this one held, and this one held, and this one held. This one held, and then we had something I've never seen before. This was a 6-day pullback that held. Now, if you're new, you might go, well, why do you say that held? Because this candle, and 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 this candle, they're all touching the green line. When price pulls back, see, we need a candle to open and close below the BBC to go from bull mode back to bear mode, okay? Sunday night, we had this huge gap higher open. There's Monday, there's yesterday, there's today. And what will it look like this time tomorrow? Well, we'll find out, won't we? This time tomorrow. Now, all of the alerts are created on a 30-minute chart. Nothing magic about 30 minutes, just the time frame I chose many years ago. They say if it's not broke, leave it alone, so it. The vertical line separates today, Wednesday, which began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. Here's Tuesday, here's Monday, okay? So we opened, this was the opening candle. Now remember, these targets that I just showed you the list of, our traders had them 5 minutes before the market opened. So we open and we pull back to the BBC or revert to the mean. As you can see, this pullback held, and this one held, and all these held, and this one held, and this one held. And it sent us right up to the long target at 69.43. Market bound resistance here. Now, that's the first time price has ever been there. So, what happened? Profit taking. So we get a retracement to the BBC, and then we make another run up to the long target. And then we get another retracement to the BBC, and the pullback once again holds. And then we put in a slightly higher high, a double top. I call that the twin tower. And no, that's not a true twin tower. It's not. Forget I said that. Now where are we? Well, we're right. We got below the BBC. Blue and climbing turned to red and falling. Okay, so we're seeing some weakness in the market. Although we've not dropped below the early session lows. But as you can see, we're here, and here's the high of the session. Here's the all-time historic intraday high, right here. That's it. And if today weren't Fed day, I might say you won't see this price again for quite some time. But today is Fed day. And so, remember, Jerome's going to be very non-committal about what will happen at the December meeting. But anyway, our traders had, now this was just such a beautiful opportunity because you had everything is aligned, okay? You got the BBC, you got blue and climbing, and you got the step line. This candle opened at 69.33 and it ran up 10 points to the target and beyond. It actually ran all the way to 49, another 6 points. You only need 2 points to get your goal for the day. So, on the Dow, this was the opening candle last night. When red and falling gets below price, it can actually become support. See how it It's right there. It's kind of cradling it. Support will always send the market looking for resistance. Now, I told you the vertical line separates the days. The horizontal lines are the weekly trading zones. We're closing in on 16 years that we've issued the weekly trading zones for our members every Monday. They come out Monday morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern, and once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. When price drops to a weekly zone, we expect support till proven otherwise. And when price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance until proven otherwise. And as you can see on this pullback to the zone, now the zone's actually 47,855/860. But I just put one of the lines on there because I like to keep my chart as clean as possible. Okay, so we spent all night, overnight, consolidating right along that weekly trading zone that was published Monday morning. And then we took a dip on the 4:30 candle and came right down to the short target. Okay, what's the short target based on? See this little area right here? Look at the horizontal line on my cursor. See it? Okay, there it is. And there it is, right? So when the market finds support, it's going to go look for resistance. It overcame the zone. It continued right on up to the long target and beyond. Now, I want you to look at this. On the way up, you had price, the black step line, and blue and climbing. What has changed? That black step line is now on the right side of blue and climbing. And blue and climbing is directly above price. So just as when red and falling gets below price, it can become support. When blue and climbing gets directly above price, it can become resistance. Okay. When the step line crosses blue and climbing or red and falling, you should look for a retracement to the BBC. That's how that works. Right here, you see where the step line crossed red and falling, and what happened? You got to pull back to the BBC. This is market structure. This is learning how to read a chart. Okay, our indicators are very humble, very simple, but they do the job. Okay, you don't need anything complicated. In fact, that's where so many people go so wrong in this business of trading. They think it's got to be expensive and sophisticated and all this other nonsense. Okay, you can see the short target was based off, well, you can't see it. I had to scrunch up. Let me scrunch. This area right here. Now, if this is Wednesday, this is Tuesday, this is Monday, I looked all the way back to Friday. Okay? Because if I had based it off that low, I just thought that would be too shallow. And I guess I was right for once. So, we open here, pull up to the BBC, the pullback holds, and then it doesn't. And then we consolidate, and we reach down on the 9:30 opening candle on Wall Street, and we touch that short target to the tick. Now remember, that was based off information I got from Friday's session, and we basically hit it to the tick. Now, price has gotten through this zone, has taken out this high from yesterday, and came oh so close. We missed the zone by 1 point. As you can see, the zone provided support. Okay. Now, resistance. Zones are an area. We get so accustomed to them hitting to the tick that sometimes we forget it's an area, but It always has been and always will be. BNQ. This was the open last night. We pulled back into the weekly trading zone. Now, that is this week's highest weekly zone. Okay? We're above it. But by close of business on Friday, based on the last 15 and a half years of history, we expect price to be at or below the highest weekly zone. And as we powered up to the long target, as often happens on the pullback, the top side of the long target became support, and now we're running into red and falling. And I think that's probably going to take the market below the BBC again. Okay. All right. Michael's here. So we have made it all the way up to crude now. We'll pick up there when I come back. But first, Michael's going to give us a recap of what happened in the live training room. And when I come back, we'll finish the recap and wrap things up with our good word for today.
Excellent.
All right, looks good.
Good. All right. Here we go. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Wednesday, the 29th day of October, 2025. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with me, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button. There is no credit card required for the trial. Just click on that purple button, and it's going to bring you to this registration page where all that we ask for is your name, your email, your phone number. Down here at the bottom, give us your TradingView login ID and hit the register button. All right. Once you do that, we will know that you took the trial, and we'll be able to enable the indicators so you can have your indicators indicating on your charts during your trial. Be able to take advantage of everything we have. Now, we had a pretty good day today. Every day this week has been pretty good. I'm knocking on wood. Every day this week has been pretty good. The goal was to get over the annual daily average, and we did get over it just a little bit. So if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today we made 53 ticks on the NQ, 93 ticks on the YM. On the YM, 93 ticks. That's our best day on the YM since, I think it's our best day this month on the YM. It's our best day since, well, a month ago, actually. A little over a month ago, 925. And the last 2 days have been negative on the YM. That's quite significant, really. But we're 93 ticks on the YM, 42 ticks on gold, and 8 ticks on the ES. Put us at $1,250 with one contract this morning. Today it took 7 minutes and 4 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $2,700, and we took a total of 42 trades this morning. So, today we stopped out 6 times. Out of the 42 trades, we stopped out 6 times. So 85% of our trades were break even or better today. 85% were break even or better. On the month now, we're at $24,345. That's over 20 trading days, averaging $1,217 per contract per 2-hour trading day. On the year, we're $226,262 over 188 trading days, averaging $1,203 per contract per 2-hour trading day. Now, if you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day and you were to add 1 contract per month, so far this year, well, you'd be at 10 contracts now. You would have only had to work 26.31 hours this year, and you'd be up $175,000, averaging $6,650 per hour. Let me open up the question box and there we go. Okay, question box open. So if anybody's got any questions, feel free to ask. It's usually a pretty quiet crowd in here, though. All right, so that's where we stand on the day, the month, the year, and all that stuff. Now the trades, the majority of the trades today were on gold. So we'll just start out with gold and work our way across. All right. Let's do this. Control back. Now we have FOMC, as Dwayne's been telling you. We have FOMC coming out. And I'm surprised the markets are still as liquid as they are right now. We did get a lot of slippage on gold this morning. I think we got some slippage on the YM on a trade or two too. But turns out on gold here, this was our first trade of the day on gold. We picked up 25 ticks on the very first trade. That is the one that got us to gold today. We're up 4 ticks on the NQ at that point, but we picked up 25 right there. Then promptly after that, we picked up another 10 ticks right here to get us to 35. Then we stopped out, had a break even and stopped out. So that put us back down, all the way back down to 5. Now we ended up picking up another, went from 5 to 10, so it was 5 ticks there. We went from 10 to 21, so it was 11 ticks. Then 21 to 33, so that was 12 ticks. And then a couple of break evens, and went from 33 to 36. And a break even, another break even, 36 to 37, then 37 to 38. So we had a couple of small trades in there. Then we stopped out, and we went from 38 down to 23. This was our third stop out in gold. Went from 38 down to 23, and then went from, we had a break even. Now this one I did both trades at once. This one, it hit me and it got me to break even, but I had screwed it up somehow and I got in early. I put my order in the wrong place. And so it went here, and before it went enough to actually get me to break even, like this one right here, it had already taken me out of break even. So I entered it again, and then I picked up, I think I picked up 15 ticks. Yeah, 15 ticks. I got into 37, and then from 37, we got 5 more ticks here to get us to 42. Now here, as the European markets were closing, there was some movement, some gaps in there. Gaps were quickly filled. But as far as trades that happened during the break go, that didn't come out of the oversold. This did. That would have been a break-even trade. This was not actually a trade. It didn't come out right there. Came out over there, but that wasn't a trade either. None of these were trades. This one right here would have been a trade. It gapped down and then it pulled back up. Probably would have been a break-even for me. I did have some issues with gaps today. The auto break-even thing, when it gaps around, when the market's really thin like this, the auto break-even thing kind of gets you in and out of trades in like seconds. You know, it can gap. It can gap and hit the break even and then come right back in just a matter of seconds. This was actually a little low right here, so that wasn't a trade there. Then this was a trade here. This would have stopped out. This was a trade here. That would have worked out okay. Nothing there. That was a trade there. That would have worked out okay. This was a trade here. That would have worked out okay. All the way over here, nothing. And this right here was a trade. That would still be, I'd have been a break even or locked in some profit at this point on that one. And that was the YM. So the YM was pretty good to us today. Now the ES. The ES we had here on the ES, our very first trade was a +2. Wait a minute. Our very first trade somewhere was a +2, and then we got 4 to go to +6, and then we stopped out. So I don't know if this was our very first trade right here. I might not have marked it, but it looks like that was a trade right there. We had a +2, then we had a +4 to get us to 6, and then we stopped out and we went to -4. And then we got 1, went to -3. Then we got 3, went to 0. Then we got 8 and went to 8. And that is where we ended up with the ES this morning. So this was kind of a trade right here. It would have been an okay trade to take right there. It took a while to move down. It's possible if it went enough to get the break even here, then you would have had a break even. Otherwise, it depends what happened on this bar, whether you would have gotten a break even or some profit on it. The next valid trade was, I guess that was one right there. That would have worked out okay. And this right here was one also. This is actually a trade you could still get in right now if you wanted to. Okay, because it hasn't gone 4 ticks into profit. I just jumped on it. Here it is. Be our first trade of this session. And that was the ES. Okay. Now the NQ we didn't have that many trades on the NQ today, considering it's the NQ. It's control and back. We're still in that ES trade right now. We're at +2 ticks on it right now. I'll keep you apprised of what's going on with that. If it goes to break even, stops out, or I actually lock in perfect. All right, so on the NQ, this was our first trade here on the NQ. We picked up 4 ticks. That's what I was telling you earlier. Picked up 4 ticks on that. We got 25 on gold is where we got the gold. We had a break even here, and then we picked up another 8 ticks there to get us to 12. And then still break even on the CS. And 4 ticks there to get us to 16. Nothing, and then 12 ticks there to get us to 28. And then we finally stopped out. That put us down to, I went from 28 to 36. So there was something else in there that got us to 36. And then we stopped out, brought us down to 11. And then we had a 45 tick trade there that got us to 56. And then I screwed up a trade here. And I somehow ended up stopping out with -3 ticks on that. That brought me to 53. And I think that was the last thing I did with the NQ this morning. It was the last thing I did with the NQ. Still on that ES trade. It hasn't gone to break even yet. Here, I'll just bring it over. You can watch it over here. Here it is. I'll stick it right there. Okay. During the break on the NQ, there was a nice short right there, a short there, a short there, and a short there. All of those would have been profitable trades. This was a valid short here. That would have been a profitable trade. This was a valid short there. That would have stopped out. I don't know. That would have stopped out. If you had taken that long right there, that would have stopped you out. There's some really nice trades there, though, on the NQ. The first 4 of them were really nice trades. Yeah. And right here was another long, and it's just about triggered another one right here just a minute ago. I guess it did trigger another one here a minute ago. And that's it. That was it on the NQ. So we ended up with plus 53 on the NQ. And if we go back here, on the day, we're 53 on the NQ, 93 on the YM, 42 on gold, and 8 on the ES, but it's at 12.50 on the morning session with 1 contract. It took 7 minutes and 4 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $2,700 and took a total of 42 trades. So we had 6 stop outs this morning. 85.7% of our trades were break even or better. And one of those stop outs was kind of a stupid thing that I did. So if we do that, 88% of the trades. Oops. 88% of the trades, really. So on the month now, we're at $24,345. We have 2 days left, 2 business days left of this month. We have tomorrow and Friday. And 24,000 puts us at 5th on the year, I think, right? That's number 1. Number 2, number 3, I guess 4th on the year. Nope, that's number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. So if we manage to get over 25,000, if you get another $1,000, I'm just about to stop out on these. If we get another $1,000 over the next 2 days, then we'll be at number 4 on the year. Okay, that's where we stand. So that ES trade was right here, and that just stopped me out. That's what we see right about. So that was -10 on the ES right there. All right, that's a lot of talking. It's just the beginning. So I kind of want to go out here and look at the bigger picture stuff for a second. Yep, we're still in a positive candle right there. And I know everything that we've been saying and thinking, this gap needs to get filled here. And I think at 2 o'clock when the FOMC does come out, there'll probably be a spike. At that point, I would consider shorting micros and with a 100 point stop. And then you ought to be able to cover them back up down here, I would think. Okay. 100 point target, maybe more, 150 point target. That's what I think is likely to happen. But right now we just don't have any trades. We had this one here that we stopped out on. That's it. We do have plenty of time though for trades. We have 19 minutes left. Normally I have like 15. But we have an extra 4 minutes today for trades to come in. So hopefully we'll get something else here. I'm going to flip the YBR here on the gold. And on the NQ, need to pull back down, get into the oversold. It's not going to happen on this bar. But it could happen. If we get a down close on this bar, that could get into the oversold, and then the next bar would be the trigger. The gold just flipped to bullish, so we'll see what happens with it all. You just never know. All right, that did not end up being a trade there on the NQ. Okay. All right. So the ES is in the wrong place. Fix my dollars. So the gold is pretty close to a trade setup. It needs a down close followed by an up close. The YM's getting pretty close to a short. It's not quite there yet. It's going to get all the way up here and hit the midpoint, give us a down close. All right. So today, pending home sales, huge miss. That was year over year. Pending home sales month over month, another miss. The crude inventories, huge misses on both of those. Crude inventories and gas, huge misses on all that. Consumer confidence. Dwayne probably went over how they're showing this as positive, but the headline was that it was declining consumer confidence month over month. But it's better than expected. It is declining, but only because they adjusted that one. If they didn't adjust that one, then this would be advancing, increasing, inclining. All right, so on the NQ, we need a down close. It's going to get us into the oversold. On the YM, we need another up close and then another test to the midpoint with a down close. Okay. All right, we want to get into the oversold here on the gold. It's too far away. The gold is going to be too far away. Down close, but it's too far away. There's not going to be a trade there. We have a chance here on the YM, but I don't think it's going to happen. We'd have to have an up close on this one and an up close on the next one before it comes out of the overbought. Okay, there's a chance. This one could actually, it's got a low of 11. So it could actually hit the midpoint and give a down close. It could all happen on this bar for the YM. Okay, the SF just stopping us out there pretty much till the tick has moved up. Gold's not going to be a trade. The YM can be now. All right. just needs a down close. It's got a high here of 123, so you'd be selling 113 on that. Still under. Yeah. All right, that number's moved up a little bit, but you can still sell it. There's no trade here on gold. All right, so we need the down close here on the YM. Down close would be a trade, and there it is. There it is. Stop, go to break even after 5, takes some profit automatically. There it goes. It's at break even. Now it should get all the way down here to 48.80. 8080, so it should go way down right now. Look in just one tick. Even if it only goes halfway, it'll be 48,100. So it should get down to here at least. Right, the swing low is at 48,080, but even if it only does a 50% retracement of this leg, it'll be right here. Right here. I'm gonna lock in a little bit more on this. It's 5. The NQ could have almost been a trade there a second ago, but it can't now. You guys see what I'm talking about when I say right here? If price changes direction right here, if you take everything else off, let me just do this. If you take everything else off on here, get rid of the context, and get rid of the trigger. You know, price moves down and then it moves up and it moves down and then it moves up. And right now it moves down. Right here is 50%. This is 50% of that leg down. So if it goes down 50% and it decides to turn right there, then it'll be right here, right? And that's where I thought it was going to go, right down there. So I don't know exactly what I got out of that. I think I got 14 ticks. But if it turns right here, it'll be a 50% retracement of this leg up. That's what I was talking about. You guys see that? Now, ideally, it's going to go down here to the swing low, but if the market should decide to turn, then it should turn right there at the 48,100 level. Not because 100's got any significance to it. It's because it's 50% of this leg. Okay, but we just took profit on that. Put that back on. This back on. So it should get down here to 48,080. Okay, the ES is just about got another long trade going here. Just about. It's an up close. It got up to the prior swing high from the last one that stopped us out pretty much to the tick. It got up to the prior swing high. This is red. This is red. And there's nothing here on the gold right now. All right, on the gold, we need to pull all the way back up and hit the midpoint. It's gonna have to go flat and the overbought for that to happen. The NQ ended up being nothing. The ES could still be a trade on an up close on the ES. It's showing not exactly strength right there by not going through and putting in a higher swing twice in a row. It's actually kind of showing weakness. I don't really want to go long on the ES, but if it does give an up close, it'll be a valid trade setup. See on the gold, if we close down right now, it's going to reset to midpoint. It's going to screw things up. Okay, there it is on the ES. Good. All right, the ES gave a down close. It's going to cancel out that trade. All right, the gold could be a trigger on this bar, I think. A little 0.9. Yeah, it could be. It could hit the midpoint and give a down close on this bar. If it gives an up close, it could be the next bar, but it could actually happen on this bar right now on the gold. Okay. Now, the next bar could be the trigger, right? It's got a high here of 8.0, so 7.0 is what you'd be selling. Now, 7.4 or 5, something like that, 6, 7. It's too high now. It's not going to be a trade, I don't think. If it goes up one tick higher, it's not going to be a trade for sure. No, it's not going to be a trade anyway, is it? No, it's not going to be a trade. Cancel, 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 cancel. All right. So far we've had a stop out to the tick on the ES. We've had a nice YM trade here. And that's it. All right. This is not a trade here on the ES. Not a trade here on the gold. All right. On the NQ. We have a chance for a trade here on the NQ. There's nothing here on the ES. Nothing else on the YM right now. And nothing on gold yet. So we're just holding out for an opportunity or two, maybe. And looking at the markets, if you look at the DOMs right now, as we get closer and closer to FOMC, see, the NQ is still pretty good. It doesn't really have a spread. The ES is usually good all the time anyway. It's not really much of a spread there or there. They're all pretty good so far. Everything's still pretty tradable right now. I'm surprised the NQ is as good as it is right now and it's not thinning out more. So we just wait. I don't know that we're gonna have another trade. So let me go through this. All right. If you have not taken a free trial, let's go here to mytradingiq.com. Click on the purple button right here. All right. There's no credit card required for the trial. Just click on that purple button, and it will bring you to this registration page where all that we ask is your name, your email, your phone number down here at the bottom. Gives you TradingView login ID. Okay. Do all that, and we will get your indicators indicating for you on your desktop. Now, if you don't have a TradingView login ID,
Do it all and do it now. Don't make us say it again. Don't make us say it again.
Do it immediately. And if you don't have TradingView, click on that. And then go here, and then just click on this. Follow the instructions in the video. What I think the instructions in the video actually say to click on this. And if you click on that, then you go here. The essential is all you really need. Click on monthly. You get the essential. You get 30 days free with the essential, I believe. You really need to do that, right? If you're going to take the trial, you should really do all that stuff. You didn't get anything else. 2 minutes left and no trades. Hurricane Melissa updates extremely. My sisters texted me. My mother's texted me. Thanks all that.
It's a family affair.
It is. Yeah, the sister that takes responsibility. That's the one that just texted me. She said, "Hey, Mike, you can sleep at our house if you want. I already booked the hotel." Our house is so quiet. You know, I'm used to my house now with Phil constantly making noise. Sleeping, awake, it doesn't matter. He is constantly making some kind of noise. So there's always noise in my house.
My wife has 7 sisters. So whenever there's a get together, one of them's passed. But they always at some point after the good wine's been drank and they've brought out the cheap stuff, they start singing "We Are Family." Oh, they got it down. They got the dance moves and everything.
Do they really?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a real production.
And they're all blonde too, aren't they?
No. Well, my wife was a redhead until it went white or gray.
Oh, okay.
And
I thought they were all blonde for some reason.
Margie's blonde. Teresa's a brunette. Tina's a redhead. Gidget was a redhead. No. There's only one blonde in the bunch. I think, if I'm getting it right. 3 redheads, a brunette. I don't know how many that adds up to, but anyway.
A lot. It's a lot of singing.
But I did see the blonde on my little mini vacation. We went to this it's out in the middle of nowhere, but it's a brewery, and they were having karaoke night, and so her sister Margie loves to sing karaoke. She has a pretty good voice. She sounded pretty good on Desperado. And then all these people I didn't even know, they're like, "What? It's your birthday?" Next thing I know, I got a cake in front of me. And,
drinks. Nice. It's a good time.
And because I stopped eating sweets some months ago when I was told that my gallbladder was about to explode, and I completely changed my diet. I've lost about 25 pounds. I made the mistake of eating cake, and man, I was sick because my body. I mean, that's a lot of sugar. I mean, and I regretted it.
Yeah, you got to ease yourself back into that.
It's like the first time. It was very similar to the first time I got drunk as a teenager. You know, when you've crossed that line and then ain't no going back. Puke your heart out.
That's unfortunate, but at least it's good to be in.
Oh yeah, I had a good time. This is very nice people. Everybody up there is so laid back because most everybody's retired, and if you're able to retire up in the North Country of Arizona, it probably means you put away a few bucks over the course of your life, because real estate's expensive up there, and but a lot of nice people. Everybody's really chill. And then the next night we went to the guy that was the MC or DJ for the karaoke night. He was at a different place the following night with his band. And on Breeze, there's some pictures of his band. And I'm pretty sure everybody there was tripping on mushrooms. Mushrooms is like a big thing in Sedona, where they
Is
have
it
all
really?
these. Well, yeah, they got the big red rocks, and there's supposedly all these places. They call them vortexes, where if you go to the exact latitude, longitude, you connect with some other realm, and I don't know. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of people with more money that they know what to do with, taking a whole lot of mushrooms, and driving up the real estate prices. So.
Nice, nice. we don't have that.
Yeah, and on a sad note, Jerome, which is my favorite place to go, probably in the world. I've had so many good stories from there. There's a little pub. It's just a tiny town hanging on the mountain, on Mingus Mountain. It was $1 billion silver camp back in the day, but then it became a ghost town. Then hippies took it over, but one of the mainstays of the community abruptly took his life last week. He in the pub where he, I guess, ran the place, went into a room, closed the door, and he left a note, but they haven't released what the note says yet. And everybody said he was the nicest guy in the world. He would help anybody, do anything, and the whole town is just. The whole town's only like 100 people, but everyone is blown away. So,
Wow.
anyway, that's a dark subject for a cheerful show
Yeah,
like this.
Another time. All right. Well, it's time to wrap it up anyway. Michael R., you asked me to show you how to do this. Right down here is the offset. That's where you do the +1, right there. All right. If you have the break even, this is where it goes to break even. If you have that at 0, after 4 ticks, it goes to break even. If you have that at 1, it goes to break even. After 4 ticks, break even plus a tick. If I wouldn't do it on a 4-tick range, but on the NQ, where the stop is 25 ticks, and it has to go 10 ticks, it would say 10 right here and 1 right there to go to break even plus a tick. Okay. All right. So let me just go through this one more time. We ended the morning session. $1,250 a contract. We took 42 trades with 6 stop outs, so 85.7% of our trades were break even or better. On the month, we're at $24,345 per contract. On the year, $226,262, and that's kind of funny, those numbers per contract. So we're averaging $1,203 per contract per day on the year, and $1,217 per day on the month. If you haven't taken the free trial, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on that. It's going to be the registration page. Just fill it out. All right. And that's it. With that, we can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, where apparently there's a whole lot of people with a whole lot more, what is it, dollars and cents? I think that's what they say.
Yeah. Okay. Recap of the morning session.
Today, it took 7 minutes and 4 trades to get to $2,700 with 10 contracts on.
Good job.
Thank you very much.
Okay, guys, here's the deal. We already made it all the way to crude, okay? So if you missed the first part of the broadcast, YouTube does things a little differently now. It used to take about 45 minutes to an hour after I sign off for it to be available in the YouTube, in our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN. But as soon as I officially end the stream, it's available right away. So if you missed, we went through it in granular fashion, all the markets, the ES, the Dow, the Russell, the NQ, as we do every day. And now we find ourselves with crude, where we left off. Okay. Now, this was the opening candle last night. We pulled up to the BBC, and then we had a little head fake right here. we had a candle open and close above the BBC. That typically means you're about to see a little run to the upside, like here on this candle. But instead, the next candle took us all the way down to the short target, pretty much to the tick. Right there, you see where red turned to blue? That's all you got to do. Now, support will always send the market looking for resistance. Remember, when price rallies up to a weekly trading zone, what do we expect? Resistance. That's right. Then resistance will always send the market looking for support. Now, if you scroll left, you got to learn how to do this yourself. Scroll left and you'll see why today's low was 59.70. Okay? Or, yeah, today's low, 59.70. You'll see it. You got to scroll back a ways, but it's there. Support always sends a market looking for resistance, which again it found at the weekly trading zone. Now, these weekly trading zones are published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. So resistance is now going to send the market looking for support again. And as I've mentioned many times throughout this broadcast, the pullback holds more often than it doesn't. Like it did here, and here, and here, right? Okay. So here, now, we spiked it a little bit, but this candle, and this candle are all touching the BBC. So the pullback held, and it sent us back up to that zone again for the third time. And it was good resistance. It sent price all the way back to blue and climbing, where it found support. And then it was able to get above the zone, tag the long target, and then run all the way to the next zone overhead. Again, that's the zone that was published Monday morning for all our members at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. Now what's happened? Resistance sent the market back to support at a weekly trading zone. Imagine that. Resistance to support. Got it? Okay. Now, we're consolidating sideways. So what's going to happen is we consolidate sideways as this BBC, the green line, is going to rise. And we know the pullback to the BBC holds more often than it doesn't. Now, that doesn't mean that this upcoming pullback is going to hold. But we do know that it holds more often than it doesn't. So if price were to trade through the BBC, I'd come way down here to about 60.25, and I would trade it to 60.15. Okay, that would be my trade on the short side. Now, if the pullback does hold, okay, you've got potential resistance at the black step line, potential resistance at blue and climbing. So I would look to get in at about 69. What's the high of that candle? 60.91. Yeah, that's a problem, because my trade would be 60.90 to 61. But you've got a real good chance of finding resistance at the top of this candle. So you really have to go up higher than that. Now, the zone is $61/6105. So what's this high right here? This high is 61.25. Yeah. So 61.15 to 61.25 would be my long trade. And I already gave you my short trade. Okay. So, but that's just what I would do. You do whatever you want. Okay. It does look like crude is trying to transition from a big old downtrend to an uptrend, but it's tried and failed a few times here lately. Now, 11, 12. We're 19 minutes away from the Fed announcement. So let me hurry up and get this done. Gold. We opened last night right at the BBC. We just consolidated, and then off we go. Now, there's one little candle right here. It opened at 3978.6. Open. Let's just call it 79. It ran up $600 to the target. 600 bucks. Boom. Okay. Then we get a pull back to the BVC. Pullback holds. We get resistance at the target. And another pullback to the BVC, and the pullback holds. And then we get up here to the high of the session. Okay. If you look left, notice where right in this area, the step line had crossed for the pullback, and it's getting ready to make its cross back. That's an important price, important area. Blue and climbing turned to red and falling, and now we find ourselves back below the BBC. And we're about to get a bearish cross. That's where the red line gets below the green line. Okay. Now you got a bullish cross right here. That's when the blue line gets above the green line. And actually, it never really went below it. It just kind of melded into it. I would still, expect probably on this retracement, the top side of this long target very well may become potential support. Also, right here, you see where you got a wick sticking up, and on the next candle, you got a wick sticking down. Put your crosshair right between the two. 39.91.1. There's potentially good support there. And if it gets through 91, then potential support at 85, and then potential support at 74. Each $1 move is worth $100 per contract traded. Silver is a different story. A $1 move is worth $5,000 per contract traded. So the opening candle last night, we dropped right into the pocket. BBC. Pullback holds more often than not. See, yesterday we had a big leg up and then a retracement. Pullback held. So we get another leg. Okay. Now, once we overcome red and falling and this candle opens, it opens at 47.24 and it runs up 15 cents. So that's $750 per contract traded. Now it went further, okay? It ran all the way to 55. Target was 39. But where to find resistance? At the zone from Monday morning. Okay, that's how that works. Resistance will send the market looking for support. Pullback held right there. Then we get back, but then we consolidate a bit at the long target, and then we manage to get above this zone, and we make a run to the zone overhead, where we consolidate sideways. And once blue and climbing gets directly above price, that becomes potential resistance because it's usually on its way to becoming red and falling. Price is now back below the BBC. We're about to have a bearish cross. There's potential for support at the previous candle low. And then you've got the zone 47.63/64. And then you've got the top of the long target. And then you've got this spot. And then you've got this spot. And of course, the short target was based off of this bullish cross from yesterday. When you have a bullish cross that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area, it's almost always good support. At least the first time down. Okay? So we'll see what happens. Jerome Powell about to light up the world with his little itty-bitty quarter-point rate cut. If he doesn't, This gap from Sunday night is going to fill. People are going to cry. Look how far we are off the high of the day. Everybody was all bullish this morning, running it up. Now they're taking profit. We are 14 minutes ahead of the Fed announcement. Now, keep in mind, at 2 o'clock, that's just the FOMC announcement. Okay, he cut a quarter point. That's fine. But the real party starts at 2:30 when the press conference starts. Jerome will deliver a prepared statement, and then he will take questions from the audience, which will be about the future of another rate cut in December. That'll be the basis of all the questions. And he's going to be very non-committal and say, I don't know, government shut down, I don't have access to the data. Now, here's the wild card in this. He could come out and say, you know, because of the government shutdown and those rotten Republicans, I didn't have enough data to give me the confidence to actually give you a rate cut. He's breaking America day by day. We now have $38 trillion in debt. The United States of America, $38 trillion in debt. And we're having a hard time repaying it because of the high interest rates. Jerome has the power to bring those rates back to zero or close to it, where they were for many years. So, he and Schumer are going to own this calamity forever. History is not going to remember them kindly. All right, to become a member, just email Valerie, support@cfrn.net. Tell her you want to become a member. She'll send you the information to get signed up. Once you're all signed up, she'll send you all the information you need to begin your learning journey. As a passport holder, you're going to get 2 hours of live training every trading day. It's an interactive environment. On top of that, you're going to get 2 hours, or not 2 hours, you get 2 hours of live training every day, but you also get access to private one-on-one mentoring. All you got to do is ask. No extra charge. The strategy you learn, the indicators you own as a passport holder are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Stocks, futures, crypto, Forex, ETFs, doesn't matter. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames, as I show you on this program every day, from support to resistance, back to support, back to resist. That's why it's so important you learn how to read the charts so that you know where to anticipate support, where to anticipate resistance. And accept the fact that 20% of the time or less, the market's going to do something other than what you thought it was going to do. We're now over 7 years with Logic 247. We've issued over 20,800 individual alerts. And we've averaged, on a weekly basis, 20% or less being stopped out based simply on market structure. You get the Logic 247 alerts around the clock, and they are what teach you how to read the chart. The Concierge Trade Alerts are published each afternoon, typically 5 minutes ahead of the Globex Open, 5:55 p.m. Eastern. Every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, you'll get the weekly trading zones for the week. And every Thursday night, you'll be able to attend the members-only workshop. And last but not least, you get the golden keys that open all the private channels in Telegram. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof, for one low price. $5,000. $49.97 to be exact. And when you compare that to the time and treasure you've spent trying to learn how to trade, it's probably a mere pittance, okay? But at least this time, you'll have somebody to help you learn how to trade. That's what you want, right? That's what we offer. Okay, let's wrap it up with our good word for the day, as we have just 9 minutes to the FOMC. Now, we started yesterday with the Bible and Your Investments, Part 1. Today, Part 2. There is desirable treasure in the dwelling of the wise. Proverbs 21:20. The Bible teaches two things about getting ahead financially. 1. You must be wise when you invest. When someone offers you a return on your money that's too good to be true, it usually is. Number 2, don't just work for money, make your money work for you. There is desirable treasure in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man squanders it. Proverbs 21:20. And there's more than one way to squander your money. If inflation is running at 3% annually, but the interest on your savings account is only earning 1%, you're losing 2% of your purchasing power. So your fear of investing can actually cause the very loss you dread. Job said, "What I dreaded has happened to me. I am not at ease, nor am I quiet. I have no rest, for trouble comes." It's Job 3:25. If that's how you feel about investing, read this. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. Then you will walk safely in your way, and your foot will not stumble. When you lie down, you will not be afraid. Yes, you will lie down, and your sleep will be sweet. Do not be afraid of trouble from the wicked when it comes, for the Lord will be your confidence and will keep your foot from being caught. That's Proverbs 3:5. Not only does God want to meet your needs, he wants to meet the needs of others through you. You see, God doesn't bless you just so you can be blessed. He blesses you so you can be a blessing to others. And if you block the flow, you end up with a stagnant pond, and that's poisonous. Okay? Think about what I just said. God wants you to be blessed so you can be a blessing to others. And for that to happen, you're going to need wise investment strategies. That's our good word for today. If you missed part 1, you can always catch it at youtube.com/CFRN. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.